Hello. This is Antya from Byte Shuffle. Thank you for always watching my videos. This time, I've put together a guide on how to play Stifle Nought and my thoughts on sideboarding strategies. Here is the deck list we will be using this time. I'll mulligan since it looks like I'm going to get mana screwed. I'll mulligan since I don't have any lands. I'll send Past in Flames and Thoughtseize to the bottom. The effect of Surveil sends the card to the graveyard. Tamiyo's ability is 2, there are only 3 turns left. Since I have the combo pieces in hand, I'll try to bait out Daze to reduce the number of effective counters my opponent has. Tamiyo's ability is 2. I'll search for a land. I stacked Ponder followed by Misty Rainforest and then drew a card. Tamiyo's ability is 2. I'm going all in. From here, I'll generate more mana needed for the combo. As for when to stop with ad nauseam. In the case of Infernal Tutor, if your storm count is high enough and you can generate 6 mana while achieving Hellbent, you can secure the win. Before sideboarding, I'd like to review the list we used. First, the conclusion. I will explain it step by step. Here's the sideboard I actually used during the game. While rewatching the video, I was hit with a shock. I never would have thought I forgot to include Carpet of Flowers. Make sure to double check everything before locking in your choices, everyone. These are the cards related to ad nauseam tendrils in the Stifle Nought deck. First, there are permanents like Grafdigger's Cage, Soul Guide Lantern, Null Rod, Lavinia Azorius Renegade, Teferi Time Reveler, and Tamiyo Inquisitive Student. In response to these, I'll bring in Abrupt Decay and Boseiju Who Endures as countermeasures. Since Boseiju Who Endures is an activated ability, it can be countered by Stifle, so you shouldn't rely on it too much. As for Teferi Time Reveler, when this card is on the battlefield, if you cast Beseech the Mirror with Bargain, you won't be able to resolve the spell you search for due to Teferi's static ability, so be careful. Therefore, I'll remove the Beseech the Mirror package. This is a point of debate, so I'll add some clarification later. Next are graveyard hate cards like Surgical Extraction, Soul Guide Lantern, and Grafdigger's Cage. I'll reduce the number of Cabal rituals, as they are more vulnerable to the opponent's graveyard hate cards. As for Surgical Extraction, if the opponent's deck doesn't produce black mana, having Vexing Bauble on the battlefield can render Surgical Extraction useless. Next, there are various counterspells such as Force of Will, Force of Negation, Consign to Memory, Daze, and Stifle. In response to these, I'll add Hand Disruption. My opponent will use Daze, Wasteland, and Stifle to disrupt my mana. To prevent my opponent from fully leveraging their soft counters, I'll bring in Carpet of Flowers and a Forest. I'll reduce less mana efficient cards like Lotus Petal and Chrome Mox. Next, with Burning Wish and as for Beseech the Mirror, some viewers might be wondering if it's okay to remove so many copies, so I'll explain further. I want to start by saying that this is a matter of perspective, so opinions may vary depending on the player. One of my opponent's main strategies is to disrupt my mana with Daze, Stifle, and Wasteland. To counter my opponent's strategy, the first priority is to ensure I secure my mana base. Once my mana is secured, I believe that drawing just one tutor, like Infernal Tutor and Burning Wish, is sufficient. When Infernal Tutor clogs my hand, it limits my ability to draw more effective cards. It also becomes a target for Surgical Extraction, which is the scenario I most want to avoid. Since my opponent isn't running Hand Disruption, they won't attack my hand, and I only need one combo piece in hand to go off, so I reduced the total number of tutors to 5. Here's an important point to keep in mind. My opponent will be deploying cards like Tamiyo Inquisitive Student and Phyrexian Dreadnought, so there's not much time to spare in this matchup. I also need to speed up my game plan to match my opponent's pace. Once I have an island, swamp, and forest in play, and I'm in a position to play additional lands. The ideal strategy is to set up for a quick combo execution. This concludes the explanation for why I opted to remove the Burning Wish and beseech the mirror packages. I'll mulligan, since it looks like I'm going to get mana screwed. Since I'm aiming for the ad nauseam route, I'll send Lion's Eye Diamond to the bottom. My opponent shuffled after casting Ponder. I'll search for either mana acceleration or disruption cards. I couldn't find it, so I'll shuffle. My opponent didn't shuffle after casting Ponder and decided to draw. Since Storm Count isn't a major factor when going for the ad nauseam combo, I played Lotus Petal in advance to prepare for any artifacts or enchantments my opponent might put down. I'll use Vexing Bauble to lock things down. I'll remove Lavinia Azorius Renegade. I'm going all in. From here, I'll use Hand Disruption to scout ahead. I'll generate more mana needed for the combo. Thank you for watching up to this point. I apologize for the frequent play mistakes. I hope to improve at MTG together with everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving it a thumbs up. See you in the next one. This has been ANT, ya.